And I think now we have a full roll call on it. So go ahead and start. And I guess Mr. Burrow has a few things to start off with.
Yes, I'm going to give some information. And our McLean County Alternative Center, MAC, which you graciously started up last year for this year. Alternative school, we're just going to give you an update at this point. More kids in there than I thought at this point would be. Usually it gets more as the year goes on, but we started out, we have 8 total right now, plus 3 more in process, and to make a total of 11. So basically we have right now going 7 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. We have 3 more in the process of moving in. So that is a good start. And hopefully when we get back in school, they're going to come back the half a day, and we'll start getting some more kids in as needed. The soft opening, I'm just going to let you know, we are going to start having the buses roll, the food's feeding the kids, and it's starting next week. Each school has posted their plans on what they're going to do as far as what grades, and basically Miss I kind of put her on the gun. Miss Jody, do you have that number of what days each groups are going?
I have that on a spreadsheet. Yes.
Can or will you be able to share on Mondays what grades are going and Tuesday? I know you have, but I don't have it in front of me.
I know that at the middle school, 7th grade's going on Monday, 8th grade's going on Tuesday, and the 6th grade is going both Wednesday and Thursday. Since they're the youngest, they're doing 2 days orientation with them. At the high school, freshmen are Monday, sophomores Tuesday, juniors Wednesday, seniors on Thursday. And I know Sacramento, they have a smaller population, they are trying to offering for all students to come every day, Monday through Thursday. Then Calhoun and Livermore both are doing at least 2 grade levels each day. They're a little mixed up which grade levels they're doing, so I don't really have that one memorized, but they're trying to get their kids in 1 day for sure, and if possible, they're trying to get them in 2 days.
Sounds good. Yeah, it is good.
Then we're coming back after, and I'll share more with the soft opening on Thursday. I'll say most of it because I'm gonna talk mostly on that. Or just the reopening plans. It's constantly changing every day, and so on Thursday we'll give the next update what we're doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of show you once we're in school. We have a new regulations and requirements and from the state that came out last week, and I'm going to show it like this, but I'll let Christy go ahead and can you put the matrix up for me? So it will be the one that looks like that on your screen. It's the green, yellow, orange, red count, and it basically goes off your county incident rates. It's a percentage off a 100,000 population. We don't have it, so our population is smaller. It's just a percentage, but it's the incident rate in your county, and how they go from it. The green is less than 1% weekly. Yellow is 1% to 9% weekly in that week. Orange is your percentage 10 to 24, I think it says. Or 25, and above a 25 is red. You're allowed to stay in school, make your decisions, what you want to do, green through orange. You're allowed to participate in sports, green through orange. Once we get to red, my recommendation, I've told the principals and our athletic directors how we're going to work this is what most counties around us. There's going to be few that's going to not do it or bark, but our insurance company, this is made from the Kentucky Department of Health and the governor and KDE. Basically, if you show the next slide, Christy, each day I have to go to a dashboard, and we look at each day, look at this dashboard from the state's incident rate. It will be lagged behind, but it's a week long. If you look at McLean County right now, and I've been posting this on Facebook, our Facebook, McLean County Public School Facebook page, there's a few things by law I'm having to do. One of them is basically to keep up with this, our color of our county. Our county is 10.9, which would make it into orange. Which means we've gotten some cases recently this past week that kind of moved us up a little bit. Just to let you know, if we ever go to red, we go back to all virtual until we go, and then we have to go back until we go back to yellow. Our county will get to red quicker and get out of it quicker than a big county because our numbers are smaller. A bigger county that has a lot of population, it gets to red. It may take them 3 weeks to a month before they get back to yellow. Ours will fluctuate because of our small numbers. So also, if you look at, since say we're playing, if you look at to our I guess that's northwest Union County, it's one of the highest in the state. They're red county. If we were going to play Union County, which this has happened, I think we were supposed to play soccer or volleyball. But if another county we go to is red, we will not. We will cancel that game. If we are red, we won't play anybody. The only other way that we get to is when we get to a postseason, then we follow the KHSAA recommendations on the color coordination and everything they do. But this is what I'm instructed to, that we're going to follow the guidance given to us last week, how we're going to do this. Any questions on this? Because it's simple. We look at this every day and have to just watch it. And we have to make sure, and by law, I have to post 4 things since it's emergency administrative regulation. That's a KAR. That's pretty much stating I have to do this now. Each day, starting the 28th, it's next Monday, Deanna set up to do this, and I'm doing the Facebook of our posting. Deanna's sending it to the state, what we hear, because normally we hear quicker than the health department. So we keep up with I'm going to for transparency, letting the county know what we're sending to the state each day. There's 4 questions. We got to turn in how many of our students that day tested positive for COVID? How many students are in quarantine today? How many teachers today are test positive? And how many teachers are quarantined? Each day we have to turn that into the state. And I post that on once we start going to, on September 28th, when we start having to do it live and we're back in school some, then October 12th, we're fully in school. I will also break that down for the community and parents. If as much as possible, if a kid's virtual or a kid's in school. If it's kids in school, say we had 5 cases that are positive that day or quarantine, I'll say 3 of them were virtual, 2 of them were in person. Then also I will try to work, once we go through our contact tracing, I will put it out there that all contacts have been contacted, meaning our health department and everybody's done the contact tracing and everybody else is safe to come back to school. So we're having to do this. And then there's going to be a whole lot to this, and you'll see when I go into Thursdays that I've asked to add to another position of a clerical position to help with Deanna and to help with trying to trace, because this is going to take a lot of time and a lot of records keeping and contact tracing for us. And hopefully carriers money and some of general will work that out. But this position, I like later on to bring that up to you, because we're going to have to do this each day, and we're contact tracing now. And we're not even in school. We had 3 quarantine students posted on today. So we're having the contact tracing now when we're in all virtual, and we have some small groups, but that part. if there's not any more questions, I hope I clarified this as much as possible. But if you have any questions, I'll be free to answer them.
I have one. Hopefully we will not go red, but if we do, will it be you finish out that day and then you don't go the next day, or you stop school that day?
No, right. Yeah, we wouldn't stop school. What we would do is basically tell everybody, get everybody prepared for the next day. Hopefully we have, because we would know in the morning if we're red. We would have all day when we get there. We have all day to prepare, to say, get your laptop or your Chromebooks home and everything you need to bring home. Then we will keep you posted to when we turn back yellow, because I won't know until that morning we turn yellow. Then I will post. We'll start back school tomorrow for all in person. So it's basically going to be the next day on everything once they post it.
Is it going to be kind of hard to go from red to yellow though quickly?
Our district, I mean, I could tell you, we went a couple of weeks ago, I looked at, we were 17 point something on the incident rate, and that was getting close to red at 25. And by the end of the week, we were 1 point something. I mean, so back to yellow, our county is so small that if we have a stretch of 2 weeks or a week that we don't have any cases, it could drop it real quick. But usually about a week, we would have week or two before we get there, depending on the steadiness of our rate here in the county of the cases.
That'll give parents opportunity to be getting their babysitting or whatever taken care of, child care.
Exactly. Okay. And we're going to keep, when we start back to 28th, we're going to keep, we're not going to make a decision on if they want to go in person or virtual until the end of October, end of this 9 weeks. Well, October 28th, they will need to make a decision then. That way, if the parents want to fill this out, that's how we want to do that. They want to use the 2 weeks quarantine after fall break, they could do it. If just to get their feel into this, we're going to wait till October 28th for them to make that decision in person or virtual. We're just going to let the parents work with their kids and how they and their family and their household, how this is going to work.
All right, thank you. Anyone else have any questions? All right, if not, then
well, I got a couple more. Sorry,
that's fine.
I'm on our next two. I was going to say we're doing them unless you want to pull it into the for Thursday to vote on. But since we added another ag teacher for the kind of a middle school, and we have had multiple changeovers of some ag teachers over the years, we really don't have a whole lot of tools left in that ag department. And I'd like to work with David. We found about $3,000. We'd like to give a startup fee to kind of help bring in some tools to get the program with an extra teacher there, get that program going. And we got two really good. I mean, Mr. Howard has talked to them more than I have, but it's gun-ho agricultural teachers. I think they're really ready to start moving forward. And I just like to say I'm going to move in $3,000 from the budget that we got to turn in on Thursday, basically to go for helping that program out and get started, get back on the feet.
And like a good thing. It's a positive. That seems like it's a positive now for a change.
Okay. Also, same thing here. I'm just going to go. The water bottle dispensers. We have to give them water. We can't let them drink out of a water fountain. That's why we're doing the soft openings, because there's going to be a whole lot of new. We can't use water fountains, so kids can't go up and just get a drink. We have to shut those off. If we bought water bottles, we're going to have to till we get these water bottle dispensers. This water bottle dispensers, when you refill stations, what it is for the water bottles the kids bring, you push it in and they can fill it up. Those are about $1,000 a piece, and we want to get at least 2 in each school. And I need to get, and basically we're going to order like 7 of them, and that would be $7,000. 2 months of buying water bottles for our kids is $9,000, and it's going to be about 2 weeks, but 4 to 6 weeks, so 2 months or so that we're going to have to buy water bottles anyway for supply for the kids. in the long run, it's a one-time pay to get the water bottle filling stations in the schools that don't have it. Well, we're going to be spending about $9,000 every 2 months on water bottles, and plus all the trash that from the water bottles we got to do. So I'm just want to go ahead and say, unless you want to pull it out, the vote on it, I'm going to go ahead and purchase the $7,000 worth of water bottle refillable stations. Any questions on that? Okay. My last thing is this came up. It's not on the agenda because we had turned it at 12, but we got something yesterday. Not so good news. I'm gonna let David speak on it. Our budget, after David works on our working budget, we get an email that says not so good news. David, you want to go ahead and share with them?
Yes, sir. I had the unfortunate purpose of calling Mr. Burrow on my way home from Lexington yesterday to discuss this email. The state sent out to all superintendents and finance officers and some other leadership groups in KDE, informing us that the state budget director has directed KDE to cut 8% from their general funds.
Gosh. Ooh.
Now, what the email says is that further information will be provided. Of course, as I discussed with Mr. Burrow, we're pretty much done with our budget, so we'll just have to wait and see, and probably do amendments on some grants, because they say KDE has been informed that they're going to probably exempt SEEK. They're going to exempt the School for the Blind from this cut, and district health insurance that's paid on behalf of districts by KDE. They're also going to exempt the debt service in-kind matches. So what that probably means is they're going to cut all of our state grants, all the Flex Focus funds, the RTA grant, everything from the state that we get. And it will probably be more than 8%, considering they have to cut 8% of their total budget. The grants aren't proportionately 1% to 1% for their budget. So they're supposed to brief on the commissioner's webcast today a little bit on this, but they said it would be very brief. I believe they're going to come up with a plan. I know I have a webcast Thursday with all finance officers in the state, and I don't know if we'll have any more information by Thursday either, but we wanted to keep you guys informed as they're informing us. I don't appreciate the great news, but I do at least appreciate them giving us the information.
At least you get the information quicker than I usually do when the governor changes something. But at least they're not hitting SEEK. That would have hurt.
Yet.
The problem with that, though, is that if we have positions hired in these grants and the grant can't cover it now, where do the money comes from SEEK?
Mm-hmm.
So they look good by saying we're not touching SEEK, but the reality is well, we're going to have to use any SEEK money to cover the shortfalls for everything that we've already planned. I mean, it's September. Obviously, we've had like 17 plans for this school year, but I'll reassure you, not one of them got cheaper every time we changed it. They all got more expensive. So in a year that we have heightened costs and that we're paying $4,500 for water a month, they're also cutting us 8% on part of our funding. So we just wanted to keep you guys up to date and posted.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mr. Miller, that's all I have on my comments for today.
All right. Well, I guess the next is approval of individual action items. We just have one, actually. It's consider approval of August 20th special call board meeting, the minutes. And should have it before you. I don't know where you've had an opportunity to look at them or not.
Looks good to me.
Okay.
Fine.
Make it look fine.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Riggs. Ms.
Good to go, Joyce.
All right, Ms. Joyce.
Mr. Miller, I recommend we approve the August 2020 special call board meeting.
Mr. Howard, you're still looking right now, or?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. All right. heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Ms. Bumpus, thank you. Over the others just a millisecond earlier. Do I have a second?
I'll second Miss Sutton.
All right, Ms. Sutton, thank you. All right. If no other discussion, I'll signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes? All right. I vote on the yeses. All right. Next thing would be discussion of our September 24th board meeting agenda. I think you have most of your information there.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Basically, you'll have my evidence again, and I'll make some more comments about the opening plan, the soft opening and the opening. On the consent agenda, you'll have these minutes. Also, there is some fundraisers that I have gone over we're still not allowed to go door to door selling stuff from kids to fundraise. These are mostly things that we could do through online purchasing of gear and different things to that nature. I think signs, the basketball, footballs, stadium signs they could put up. So and basically there are also some things about concession stands on here. But like I said, I sent out an email to my principals today. I'm going to, hopefully, if you approve this, I'm not going to allow them to use their concession stand until we get back started and we get the kinks worked out with the kids of what all we have to do, because there's going to have to be a plan on concession stands, like packaged food only, water bottles. You're going to have the 6 foot distancing. Everything else is going to be something we have to turn into the health department to get it okay to do with the concession stands. Concession stands also we'll have to have some form. They want plexiglass, so I'm not going to do it until we basically be able to do it. So, but if we go ahead and get approved, we can start it up whenever that happens. So basically, all these I've gone through. Mr. Troutman's gone through, and we did them at the same time. I think we ended up with the exact same things that are okay to do, and when we did them separately. So that's the fundraisers. It's going to be difficult on the schools. And as much as we can, getting them back. There was one that I think somebody turned in, cow chip bingo. We've always done that, but I never got a reply back on how they're going to sell the tickets. So that will probably wait till the next month if I get that part, because right now selling hand to hand, we can't do. And so unless we have a plan approved and gone over with our health department in Indiana. So that's the fundraisers, field trips. Mr. Troutman only had one on there, but I'm gonna go ahead and recommend to approve that one to you. It's the ROTC. They play in sports. I just need to get more information what the Raider team event's going to be, what they're going to do. So we'll be approved for that, because if we're participating like football and now middle school basketball starting because it's considered a fall sport. Or September 28th, the boys and girls basketball high school can start doing individual small workouts. In October, I think 28th, they can start full-blown basketball winter. So in ROTC, they do their meets, and as long as I see a plan, I'm okay with it. But until they got to get me a plan of that part, then I'm good with that field trip. That's another thing. Field trips on that matrix. Let me find it. The green, if you see this matrix right here, green, yellow, orange, and red, every one of them says no field trips. Cancel all field trips. But I'm looking at ROTC as it's a competition, because they go compete against other teams. So if football and basketball, soccer and volleyball can compete, I'm saying ROTC can too. So I look at, but other field trips are supposed to be canceled, not allowed. Don't understand it, but that's the rules we got to go by. The next thing, Owensboro Public School Memorandum of Agreement, that right there is nothing but they got a visually impaired teacher that work together with comes and works with our kids. And it's just, we're just signing a memorandum of agreement saying it's okay for them using their person to help our kids.
How many do we have?
I think
Mr. Burrow?
not many. One, go ahead, Sherry.
Yes, we just have one student right now that requires to be.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's what I thought she told me yesterday, but
It requires what? What was this for?
visually impaired.
Visually impaired. Okay.
Yeah. We don't, we just, they don't have enough to supply, so we just work to combine the districts to use
I
one.
think that's great.
Our after-school director was full-time and going to part-time as needed. Everything just moving down a little bit because with all going on a little bit, just moving to as needed. We have two, board has to approve 2 emergency certifications. Board approves all emergency certifications. We have to put one in for teachers. We have 2 teachers at the high school to complete all the hiring of their teachers before school starts. Is the history at the high school and math at the high school. We got 2 to come in. They're going to be working for the certification to become a teacher. So that's good. Ashley, non-resident contracts, anything on there?
It's basically the same thing. We do this each year. Typically it's in December before we do it, but they have changed their regs this year saying by October your non-resident contracts have to be signed. So Mr. Miller, on Thursday night I have several non-resident contracts that we will be sending out, and then some that I've already received.
Okay.
It's the same school districts that we normally do. It's basically every school district that touches McLean County.
Yeah. Okay.
Jason, you want to talk about the activity, the technology activity report?
This is just something that we have to do every year. We have to have this board approval. We turn in a list of all of our technology purchases over the past year, and we send it in. That way we get our offer of assistance. It's just for your consideration and for review. And obviously, we've already made these purchases, so it's just basically a formality.
All right.
Jason, the course code 909999.
Every course in the state that we offer in Infinite Campus is assigned a course code by the state. There's a specific course code that they allow us to use at the district level for a course that does not have any standards set by the state. And in order for us to use this in Infinite Campus, this specific course code, we have to have board approval. So we're just asking that you approve us to use this course code. What we're going to use it for is that we're putting in an activity course, and it's going to allow us to do our grade checks with our students for eligibility a lot easier than what we're using right now. So we're just asking for approval to use that state course code.
It's for athletics and KHSAA. We have to have grade checks each week. You can just put your athletes in there and pull them, and you can do a grade check. You know who. It's a lot easier than what we're doing.
All right.
Sounds good.
Amended salary schedule. David, would you like one of the ones that we've talked about will be in the next individual action line, but I think David has something he wants to put in there too.
Yes. The main thing that we'd be adding to the salary schedule is a schedule for the clerical position. Just naming that position in the salary schedule, assuming that a board approves it. The other thing that we're looking at adding to this salary schedule is just a list of days of employment. We currently in our salary schedule have a list of all administrators, directors in central office, principals, assistant principals. what we would like to do is just make sure that anyone who has more than a teacher's salary or a classified salary, for example, our business teacher at the high school has 5 extended days. We just want to make sure that we list all of that in salary schedule to make it easier to read for the public. But to do that, we want to put it before the board and make sure you guys approve it before we just add it in there.
Okay. Shouldn't be a problem. All right. And the treasurer's report. And
Above it, approval
I'm
bill.
sorry, the working budget. I'm sorry. Yes.
With this, the temporary, always the bills, we'll go over that. You'll do that Thursday. The new temporary COVID-19 contact tracing clerical position. It's hard to say off your tongue real fast, but it's basically it's to help out with what we're getting ready to get into. I know Deanna and I over the weekend, we were in calls. We had principals, we had parents, we were getting information, so-and-so tested. I held, it's a lot of things we have to act on it. We have to trace these and let the health department know and keep a record. Is this teacher going to be quarantined? Is this teacher not? Is this student going to be quarantined or not? How many in that room is going to be in quarantine or they're not? So these are things we're going to have to decide every time we get information given to us. We will take parents that call us and say, my child has been in quarantine or my child's tested positive. Then we turn that over and they start checking. If we get a parent call us that says, so-and-so's got so-and-so from another family is tested positive, we don't count that number. We'll call and then say, we got information, is this true or not? But we're not going to take somebody else's word unless we have to get that from that family. So we got a lot of digging in to do to make sure we give the most accurate numbers we can from our county. Just something I'm added with this as we're talking about the tracing. Not only is that the red will cancel us to go back to virtual. There's one other thing that will too, and this will help with this person. We may find out we don't have in most districts the same way. There's not many substitute teachers out there at all. If we get a lot of teachers that get quarantined, we may have to step back until we get some teachers back to be able to go back to school. We just can't so there's going to be a lot of tracing we have to do to make sure we can stay in person. So that just give you, I forgot to add that part, but it went along with this too, because we're going to have to make sure everybody that has been in contact has been called and taken care of, and we can still keep school. But if we start losing people, that's when the issues of closing back to in person. So I'm just going to ask for approval of a new person to help with this position, with help Deanna and help with all this tracing we're going to have to do when we start. Any questions on that?
I can see the need.
Yes, absolutely.
And that again, be limited number of hours a week, or and kindly until the job's done. How will that work?
Well, it's like this. It's kind of as needed, probably due to the fact that they may be working on weekends. They may be, we may have to find out what we got to do for Monday morning. So it's as needed. I think David, we've talked a little bit about it. David, do you have any else to that?
No, but we've been working with Miss Sally and Miss Lindsay on that, and just we were thinking it's probably going to average 4 to 6 hours a day. Maybe the timing will not be set, and it's just going to be ongoing until the need decreases, which honestly it doesn't look like that's going to be anytime soon. The need is actually ramping up right now. So,
Right. Okay. One question, I think we do need it to just kind of get a little idea on it. Thank you. All right. Is that all, Mr. Burrow?
The working budget, David, you want to discuss that?
Yes, sir. I think we all know that we're in strange times. And this will be my, I think, 17th budget that I've done for this board. And I feel really honored that I've been able to do this for this long for such a great school, the one that brought me up. This year's going to be a little different. I'm going to tell you what I know in this budget. I know what our salaries are going to cost us. I know that we're going to be spending an exorbitant amount on water and methods to provide water for our students. I don't know, honestly, what we're going to spend on fuel this year. I'm going to give a really good estimated guess. I don't know what extra hours that this pandemic's going to cause us. So I don't know how our utilities are going to run. I honestly think they're going to trend a little higher than normal, when you would think that they might be lower since we've been out of school for a little bit. But the reality is our staff have probably been working longer hours, trying to roll this virtual schooling out for the first 4 to 6 weeks of school. So this budget will be a very good map for us to try to instruct our kids this year. And I'll tell you some things that I know will be in it. We're going to spend close to $10,000 on providing water for our students. We're going to spend close to $7,000 on dispensers to provide more water for our students, so that we don't end up spending $50,000 on bottles of water. It's going to have this new clerical position in it. I'm hoping to pay for part of this clerical position with the CARES Act money. We budgeted a large amount for PPE and we just have not spent it. So I'm hoping to use that excess money to pay for the clerical position. Then if we turn around and need more PPE, obviously we would need to use some general fund to cover that. But if we don't, then I don't want to waste the CARES money. So all of the bridged expenses that we planned for in this CARES money, they've been taken out of our normal budget. This budget reflects the compensating rate for our taxes. You know, we were lucky enough to drop our rate just a small amount, but I think that was a great move by the board to do that while our constituents and our taxpayers are hurting financially. The other thing this budget does include is our MAC cost. This is the first year, and so we're kind of guessing on what it's going to cost, but me and Mr. Burrow had a real strong figure all along on what we think it's going to cost, and I'll be honest with you. I really feel like it's going to be about that amount. We were looking somewhere around $90,000. I think that's about what it's going to cost us. And in an $18 million budget, if it graduates 8 to 10 more kids out of school, then that's, money well spent. We also have our new ag teacher in this budget, but like I said, we know exactly what salaries are going to cost us. And I'll tell you what this budget will not have in it is, it will not have the 8% reduction that we were informed of about 18 hours ago. So we'll wait for more clarification on that and to see how bad it actually reaches down to the district level. And I'll present you with a summary and obviously with the Munis report. But I'll be happy to answer any questions or address any concerns you guys have from now, obviously, till I present the budget or throughout the whole year. Anytime I'm available. So that's the information that I'll bring to you on Thursday.
All right. And all of you have your bills to pay. I think everyone maybe have time to take them home like we usually do and look at those. And have any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Page 4, 216. What is that recon helmet?
Recondition, where they had to recondition for safety.
Football has to do it every year, recondition their helmet.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know what that meant.
Time you abbreviate and not for sure anyway, it makes it hard to understand it, doesn't it?
Ms. Bumpus, we only have so many characters to list a description in Munis, and so we try to do as good as we can.
Yeah, I just feel like is that
Anytime we're doing a
something new
bad
that
job.
you had to buy, or I didn't know.
All right, anyone else have any other questions or want to speak about something?
I've got a couple of comments. For Thursday, I'd like to have a hard copy of the reopening for the different schools on who's going where. And I want to thank Mr. Nelson out at I was approached by some parents on club day at the high school. And with his site-based group and himself, I'm real pleased to be able to tell them that we've worked a club schedule out where the clubs can meet now and have time to have their meetings.
That's good.
So I thank Mr. Nelson on that one. So thank you. If you're listening, Barry.
I am, Mr. Howard. Thank you very much.
All I'm going to say is, again, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
That's got me.
Anyone else?
I have a question, and I know y'all are thinking, great, she's the stupid one that always has the questions. But I was just sitting with my son, just watching him do some of his classwork, and this Edgenuity, and I'm at a law. I would just have to be stupid. I wouldn't be able to graduate high school because I couldn't do this. But there is no instruction from the teachers with the Edgenuity. They have like Google Meet afterwards, but there's actual no instruction. It comes from a virtual teacher. I was confused about that because I thought that there would be more interaction and that was a tool. But I've had other parents ask me about that too. So I was glad that I wasn't the only one, but I just didn't, I just thought there would be more interaction from our teachers and that the Edgenuity was more of a tool. So I need some explanation on that so I can explain that to some of my parents too.
I think elementary, they get quite a bit more instruction. I think as the higher the classes go up, they get a little bit less. And when you get in high school, because I don't have anyone in high school right now, so I'm not familiar with it.
Right.
I'll let the principals, but I know I have a middle school and a high school. My high school goes to OCTC, but my middle school, there's a lesson every day, and some of it is Edgenuity, but some of they have it set up where there is a Google Meet. They go with a teacher every day. I'm gonna let the principal discuss their areas and what they've got going in there for you, if that's okay.
Oh, that's fine. I know that if it wasn't for Miss Eubanks at the high school, I would just have already probably done myself in, because she's the one that keeps me informed and what I'm supposed to. She's just amazing is all I got to say. But I just thought there would be more like virtual, our kids actually seeing our teachers through the virtual.
It is an online kind of a homeschool program. It's kind of what for each kid. The Mac uses it and everything else. Now, Barry, do you want to discuss the high school more? You're in that area more than I am.
Yeah, I will, Tommy. And Ms. Bumpus, it varies by teacher and it varies by subject. I know personally that I have several teachers that do online virtual lessons through a Loom video, and it pretty much precedes what goes on in Edgenuity. They post that because I see that. Some teachers rely a little bit more on Edgenuity, but every teacher is using Google Classroom, very similar to how we use Google Classroom in our person-to-person school day. There are some students, and I've addressed them too, just like you have, that's asked those questions also. And we've worked through some hiccups along the way. In fact, we worked through one yesterday with a student. Myself and the instructor did. So those things pop up, and we knew going in that there was going to be some hiccups. And like I told my teachers the very first day, we're building this ship as we're sailing it.
Right.
So we are trying to overcome them, and any of those that come to my attention, we have worked through them, and the parents have been quite pleased.
Okay. It was, just stupidity on my part, I guess, but I thought there would just be more of actual instruction from the teacher. Not that please don't think that I'm saying they're not doing a great job. That's not what I'm saying. I just, my son didn't know what two of his teachers looked like until he actually came to the school.
Right.
And so
some are better at that than others, and I understand that. Yeah.
And for mine, who's special needs and autistic, it was hard for him to say, well, I need to do this for him because I don't even know who he is. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes, ma'am. I do.
So, he does his Google Classroom, and I've set in on those, which I'm telling you, these kids are amazing because there's no way I could do it through this. I could not. And the teachers, God bless you, because I can't imagine what you all are doing. I just thought that there was going to be more interaction than what we had last year. That was just my only comment.
And we're constantly making notes, and I'm gonna make a note of what you said, and we're constantly we're trying to improve every day, and that may be one of the areas we need to improve upon. Thank you for that.
Mr. Muppets, also told the principals that the teachers need to try to put out something in the morning just to say, hey, hello, here's what your thing you got to do today. And a lot of teachers have started doing this. They're getting ready, and this I think last week, just to get a morning hello. It's kind of, because some teachers, some kids, when waiting all day to get to their class, there may not be nothing there. If a teacher just opens up at the beginning of the day and says, today, I want you to work what we did yesterday, and here's the lesson I want you to read a little bit, just kind of say hello to you. And if they get out there, that may just start up a community.
We are doing that.
Yeah.
So, also, I want to give you some virtual academy numbers that they're still fluctuating, but right now, they're still being turned in the forms, but as of right now, out of 400, I don't know what, actually, you got to top of your head, 1,450-ish kids in the district right now. I say 1,400. I don't have that number in my head. We have 217 going to stay virtual. They've already said they're not coming back. 39 at Calhoun, 40 at Livermore, 6 at Sacramento, 53 at the middle school, and 80 as of right now at the high school. And so that's giving you an idea. There's people going to stay in virtual instead of come back to in person.
And our number has grown. We had a couple more turned in today also.
Okay. So they'll keep the more kids stay in virtual, the numbers in the classes will be a little lower for social distancing in that part. Just giving you that number. And it may fluctuate, it's going to fluctuate back and forth to this anyway.
All right. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nelson. I appreciate that information.
You're very welcome. And I view all this, Ms. Bumpus, as constructive criticism, and we don't take it personal. Thank you.
Well, I don't mean to criticize. I was just clarifying for me because I was under the wrong impression, I guess. Maybe the wrong word, but any kind of comments we get, things that we work through, I share with everyone. And like I said, we build on that. We're always looking to improve and making it better for our students and our parents. Well, I just want you to know that you have a treasure in Bridget Eubanks, because if it wasn't for her, I'd be sunk. I have a treasure in the entire high school family, and I appreciate every one of them every day. But Bridget does do a good job. Thank you. I'll let her know that. Thank you.
Just to clarify, what were you needing on the reopening plans for the soft opening?
Yeah, I was just curious what different classes were going to show up on what different days.
Okay.
No big deal.
You're looking at the numbers. What you don't want the whole plan they're doing, or you just want what grades are coming in?
No, just the grades. I'm not worried about numbers.
We'll have that.
anything like that. No. I just was curious if somebody asked me,
Sure.
when are the sophomores gonna show up at the high
You'll
school?
have that before we leave today. We have that already.
Okay, that's fine. No
Yeah,
big
that's a
deal.
good idea.
And Ms. Brackett, could you find that for me and print out 5 copies?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
That's got me.
All right. If nothing else, do I hear someone entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Riggs, have a second?
Second.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Howard. All those in favor say aye.
Uh-uh.
Opposed? I don't hear any opposed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.